Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming out again once more, this time 50,000 strong. Now, friends, sometimes on these marches, we've asked you to be silent for a minute or two to remember all of those killed in Gaza. Sometimes we have asked you to be silent, to remember especially the children slaughtered in this genocide, and we have read a few of their names. Now, 2 weeks ago, the political commentator and human rights activist Daniel Levy, who is a friend of mine, gave evidence in front of the United Nations. He told the assembled dignitaries that really, to honour their memories, we should hold a minute's silence for every single one of the children slaughtered in Gaza. But if we did so, then that silence would need to last for 300 hours. Now, the pro-Israel voices across our political establishment, including, shamefully, leadership groups in the Jewish community, do not want us to remember the children of Gaza. They do not want us to think about them. They cannot allow these children to be humanized. They want to silence their voices and erase their memory. They want to erase the voice of 5-year-old Hin Rajab calling for help as an Israeli tank prepared to fire the bullets that would kill her had already killed every member of her family. We must not remember her voice crying for help, telling the medics that she was calling, that she, a 5-year-old child, was frightened and had wet herself. And they do not want us to hear the voices of the children who have survived the genocide and now want and need to give testimony to the horrors they have witnessed, like 13-year-old Abdullah, narrator of the documentary that those pro-Israeli groups bullied the BBC into removing from all of their platforms. And this week, as we have heard, we saw the same groups intimidating the Royal Television Society into rescinding an award for the journalists of Gaza, who have, as many of their Western colleagues, have remained silent, have agitated against that silence, have documented the horrors of genocide, even for some at the cost of their own lives. And these same groups are, of course, trying to drive you, trying to drive all of us off the streets of London on the basis of the monstrous lie that when we march, we create fear amongst the Jewish community because we intend to harm them. So I salute every one of the cultural figures and journalists who have protested against the actions of the BBC and the Royal Television Society. I salute the Jewish comrades who have again joined us today in their thousands to lay bare the lie that to be Jewish and to be a Zionist are one and the same thing. And I salute every single one of the 50,000 of you who, in the face of intimidation, have come once more to the streets of the capital and refused to be silent. And friends, we know why we continue to protest We do so because the genocide is not ended, because the system of apartheid and colonisation and occupation on which it is founded continues unabated, and because our government and our public bodies and our corporations continue to lend it support. Not a word, not a single word of condemnation from Keir Starmer this week as Israel cut off all electricity and aid to Gaza. Not a comment 2 days ago as human rights investigators produced a report detailing the IDF's use of rape and sexual violence against Palestinians, and not a word of condemnation for the atrocities being committed right now in the West Bank, with 40,000 Palestinians ethnically cleansed in the last few weeks. So friends, as long as these crimes continue, and as long as they continue to be supported by complicit bodies in this country, then we will not be silent and we will continue to protest. We will continue to build our community of resistance, not just on the streets of London, but in towns and cities across the UK. The campaigning we have done, calling on local authorities to end their investment in complicit companies, have seen 9 councils now make the decision to begin divestment. On March the 12th, PSC launched a new Don't Buy Apartheid campaign, calling on all individuals, shops and businesses to boycott Israeli produce and to boycott Coca-Cola, complicit because it operates facilities and an illegal Israeli settlement. So join every single one of those campaigns. Join us back on the streets of London next Thursday when the Israeli Foreign Minister is in town. We will be outside Parliament to give him the welcome that he deserves. Friends, we do not stop. We never stop. Let us remember the words of Omar al-Qayyad, who told us, one day everyone will always have been against all of this. We, the community of resistance, are not waiting to be on the right side of history. We are taking up that position now, standing shoulder to shoulder with our Palestinian brothers and sisters until the day of liberation finally arrives. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Thank you. Safe journeys home.